Day 19 of the Radio Free Skaro Fluid Links Advent Calendar. As this goes out, the rest of us are looking forward to going to see the new Star Wars movie, I think. Isn't that exciting?
Tomorrow for me.
Oh, is it?
Today for me. I might be in it right now.
Yeah, wow. Well, I guess, Warren, let's not talk spoilers then, because Chris might get upset with us.
The Emperor was Baby Yoda all along.
It could be. You never know. You never know. The question for today is from Michael McDade, Panels to Planets on Twitter. And he asks this: what are each of your introductions to Doctor Who? What years and what story / Doctor was / were the ones that made you stay Whovians? And there's more questions. Also, what were your reactions to the first regeneration you saw? So, introduction to Doctor Who, what made you stay a Whovian, and reaction to first regeneration.
Warren, I know you know the first part of your answer.
Yeah, well, sort of. Because I think I read Doctor Who and the Dinosaur Invasion a year before I ever saw Doctor Who, but I never connected the two until years later. It was just this book I read in the library that meant nothing. It was just about some guy, and it described the Doctor as having a shock of white hair, which made no sense to me, so I just blurbed over it. But then, yeah, Robot is where I actually saw it, and that's what kept me going. But I don't think I saw the first episode, like the regeneration episode. I think I saw episode 4 or something, or episode 3 or 4 or something. And so I didn't see the regeneration proper until it cycled around again. And by then I knew about it, so it didn't surprise me.
Oh, really? Wow. So
But I hadn't seen, it didn't start with it, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I knew. I can't remember. You actually had a first story, Warren. I'm kind of jealous about that. You had Robot. I mean, that was your first.
Some of it anyway, yeah.
Yeah, at least Chuck's in March or May, I can't remember what it was, of 1983. Remember, I went back and looked. We went to KSPS, Warren. We
did.
Uncovered we went into the vault. There was a big giant vault door that had all the information. It was a cabinet. It was a filing cabinet with old preview magazines.
It was a tiny boardroom, but it was still surreal to be in the tiny boardroom of the PBS station you grew up with.
That's true. Yeah. So Robot. Wow. Yeah. I'm jealous of that. Chris, was your first introduction actual proper televised Doctor Who, or was it bookified Doctor Who?
I want to say it was something televised. I don't think I got into the books until after I'd seen some of the stuff on TV. It would have been around the same time as you, 1983-ish. About 8 years old. My father liked Doctor Who, so I watched it because of him. And
right. So he must have latched on to it pretty quick after it started airing on KSPS then, or did he know of it before it aired?
I would, if I had to guess, I don't know the answer, but if I had to guess, I'd say he probably saw it on TV and liked something about it enough to watch it again and introduce me to it and all that kind of stuff. But I could not tell you what story. Odds are it was something Tom Baker, but I couldn't even answer that confidently.
It probably was Tom Baker. I think it's pretty safe to assume anyone our age.
It's a safe bet, yeah.
Watching it, yeah.
Regeneration stuff, I don't remember being surprised by it, because I think by the time I would have seen the first Regeneration, so Warren mentioned the Peter Haining book, so there's Key to Time and Celebration. And then there's another one later on, TARDIS years, something I can't remember.
The early years, but that was all Hartnell stuff, though.
Early years, that's
yeah. I got them all.
But I know I had looked at Celebration or Key to Time, but I think it was probably through Target books that I learned about regeneration. So by the time I saw it on an actual broadcast episode, it did not really surprise me. No. Or maybe something happened, like I saw the 5 Doctors before I saw a regeneration, so I knew there were multiple Doctors or something. But I don't remember any surprise with seeing a regeneration, which I assume would have been Logopolis.
Probably. For what it's worth, it's May 10th, 1983 is when Robot Episode 1 went out on KSPS Spokane for us here in the Edmonton area. We picked it up. So
was that the first time it went
first
out?
time, very first time. Yep. There was even an archive news article about it. I've done research on this. This is not just for this, just in general, because I used to have an office job with lots of spare time on my hands, and so thus I researched my entire broadcast history of watching on the KSPS. I don't remember when mine was. I know it was during the after school airing. And my friend Rob Tucknott was flipping around on the TV or something. And for some reason, I was at his place and I saw this crazy guy in a hat and scarf walk around the console. It's amazing that I was just looking over at that exact time and remembered that exact image in my head like all these years later. And I sort of said, what is that? It's Doctor Who. It's a show or something. I can't remember what he told me, but... Little did I know
he knew what it was.
He knew what it was. Little did I know those like 3 or 4 seconds that I watched this was going to change my life, because then I went and like, I need to find when this is on and what it is, and I think I eventually found it, but never caught the beginnings of episodes. I would catch like literally the last 3 minutes of The Deadly Assassin Part 1 when I see Tom Baker lining up his shot and he shoots the president and boom, cut to credits. I never saw the rest of the story for another 10 years. But and then I like in researching the broadcast history of KSPS, like I was thinking, why did I stop watching the show? I figured I stopped watching the show for like 2 years, and I finally realized, oh right, we didn't have a VCR, and they stopped like weekly airings sometime in 1985, I think it was, and so I couldn't watch episodes anymore because my dad was always watching the Tommy Hunter show on Saturday nights, and so I was kind of screwed. So I missed all of them. I missed Doctor Who for like 2 years, but then I came back and became a huge fan. And it was full circle that hooked me. It was like season 18 in general, I think. That sort of like, okay, I think I'm becoming a proper fan now.
I thought it was 16.
Well, I mean, I always like veered back, and it was every time I like looped around, it was like, oh, season 16 again. For a while, I just assumed that maybe the whole show was about finding the key to time. That could have been it, but I was becoming a fan once I watched season 18. Yeah, which is quite amazing in '87. But when I first saw Logopolis, like I sort of knew, like I read the target novelization of the Three Doctors, so I assumed that there were at least 3 doctors prior to Tom Baker, but I just assumed Tom Baker was the current doctor, you know? Like there was no one else past him. And I just remember watching the opening seconds of Logopolis thinking, if this is
87,
yeah.
If you're thinking Tom Baker's the current,
I know.
You got 2 doctors that have come and gone now.
I know. Pre-internet days, man. Pre-internet days, kids. So... and then he fell off the telescope, and I was like mortified at the end of Logopolis. And then like 10 minutes into Castroval, I really like this new guy. I guess I'm a fan for life. And there we are. And
your current cycle.
Yeah.
One memory I have about Regeneration was Caves of Androzani. The first time I saw that, I guess So I would have been part of the Doctor Who fan club at that point in time.
Wow.
You'd think I would have known better, but somebody. I forget if it was somebody from the fan club or if it was just somebody else in fandom that I knew. Somebody told me that when Peter Davison's run was done, the show was over. That was it.
Good old fandom. You can always rely on them to throw a wet blanket on something.
They were shutting it down. So when I watched Caves of Androzani, I had no idea it was Davison's Regeneration story. So I watch it, and episode 4 wraps up, and Davison regenerates into Colin Baker, and I'm like, holy crap! I was lied to, etc., etc.
Right.
And then, the day after, the next time I saw my dad, he had watched it as well, his first time, and because I think I had told him that the show's over when Davison's done, and he just kind of like, I told you so'd me.
Rightfully so, I'd say.
When I saw him, because he's like, "Did you watch last night?" and etc. And I'm like, "Yeah, I thought it was over." And no, it's not.
Well, for a lot of people, it was over.